Tapke sir, it's a pleasure for me to introduce our esteemed speaker, Mr. Madhav Tapke sir, a leader who has inspired many through his incredible journey in the global BFSI industry. With over 30 years of experience, he had led major banking transformation, digital platforms and innovative projects not in India but across the globe, which make him stand out his passion, what he has into the banking and financial services. He has created human-centered solution and his dedication and mentoring young entrepreneurs is really appreciated. As a board of members and innovation director at Garje Marathi Global, he has been a very instrumental in building a strong global community of Marathi entrepreneurs, academics as well as investors, sir. So your contribution is truly admirable, sir. Thank you. So today we are fortunate to have with us Mr. Madhav Tapke, sir. I request our director, Dr. Kirti Dawar to kindly felicitate us. Give a big round of applause to sir. So let me take an honor to introduce Ajit Ranade sir. He is an exceptional leader, entrepreneur and visionary. Mr. Ajit Ranade sir, a name synonymous with the innovation and impact in the European business landscape. With over 13 years of experience driving business development across Germany, Austria, Switzerland, Italy and France and many more. Mr. Ajit and owned expertise across various phases of the sales cycle. With a keen focus on a new business development, sir has a huge, rich experience he carries with him. A proud graduate, he is from College of Engineering, Pune. With a degree in mechanical engineering, his journey has taken him from leadership role and now he is a renowned IT companies. He worked with the Capgemini, Tech Mahindra and many more to establish his own consultancy firm. Today he has his company at Frankfurt, Germany. He is a founder, Euro Opportunity UG, an innovative AI-driven digital platform designed to address Europe's skilled labor shortage by facilitating a platform from non-EU country. Further, he established, which is key mention to be here, Desi Germans India Private Limited, a higher education consultancy that guides students aspiring to pursue higher study at university. So my students who are here and looking forward European Union as your future, so definitely sir is going to help us in order to be there. His community involvement is equally impressive. Since 2017, he has been associated with Garje Marathi and served as a founder and president of Marathi Katta Germany. So what we have Katta here in India, we have a Marathi Katta in Germany as well. EV additionally, he co-founded the Indian Association at Frankfurt, which means a lot, sir. An essential organization with Germany financial capital. So today we are honored to hear from you. I request our director, Dr. Kirti Dawar and Rao sir to kindly felicitate the guest. Please give a big round of applause. We are really fortunate to have a speaker like this. He runs a long races and someone who treasures time spent not only his workplace but he loves to spend his time with the family members and the friends. A creative soul, he also enjoys writing whenever time permits him. So today we are really fortunate to have with us Mr. Dashrath, who is a leader who believes in the power of stories and connect and inspire. So we request ma'am and sir to kindly come forward and felicitate the guests. So give a round of applause for today's guests. Mr. Yogesh Dashrath sir, who has travelled from Sweden. Thank you sir. We are really eager and fortunate that you have given your valuable time to share your thoughts with today's class. We have another guest in our panel, very enriched personality, Dr. Suyash Chavan. It is an honor to introduce an exceptional leader and diplomat, Dr. Suyash Chavan, a proud son of Maharashtra who has excelled in his both medicines and diplomacy. Dr. Chavan began his journey in Nanded and earned his MBBS from Government Medical College from Chhatrapati Shivaji Sambhajinagar. Although he initially pursued pediatric pharmacology, his desire to serve the nation led him to clear the UPSC exam. Give a round of applause to him because he cleared UPSC exam with All India ranking 56. So it means a lot and is inspiration to everybody. And then he joined the prestigious Indian Foreign Services. His diplomatic career includes serving at the Indian Embassy in Berlin and the Consulate General in Mauritius, where he facilitated a sister city partnership between Chhatrapati Sambhajinagar and Ingolstadt. He also launches the Global Maharashtra Initiative, connecting thousands of government school students with global career opportunities, particularly addressing Germany's skilled labor shortage. So really, sir, your work is really admirable. Currently, he serves at the Ministry of External Affairs, so very prominent personality we have with us, handling a Brazil trade relationship with Latin America, Caribbean, as he accomplished author of the best-selling book of UPSC success story. So give a round of applause to sir. So I request our director and sir to kindly fill his stage, sir. It's really honor, sir, you have given your valuable time.
Sir, if we wanted to type your profile, I think I would have easily 10 pages to read. And that's the reason we said, no, we don't need introduction on paper. It is my great honor. It is my great honor to introduce someone from whom I learned. So if madam told me about for my last 30 years of journey, I attribute that, and I really mean that by my heart, that it attributed to Dr. Uday Salunkhe sir. I was his student. Now imagine what a pride for me that I get an opportunity to be part of the discussion with the same professor who taught 30 years back to me and made me come here. So that I'm telling you, that's a great joy. That's a different experience. But let me introduce Dr. Uday Salunkhe. Dr. Salunkhe sir is a group director of Wellington School of Management, a first business school probably in India, who started really getting the international flavors into India for an MBA. So I remember my old days, that's when he was the first to go out and said, I'm going to do a collaboration with at least 3 countries and people will go to 3 countries, learn what's happening out there before they graduate from here. He is the one who turned around many, I don't want to use word sick, but the companies who really wanted to become from a negative to profitable business. So he is a champion that and he did that. And because he comes from an industry and heads an MBA institute, it gives a completely different perspective for the learning of the students like me. He always believes in 2 sentences. 1, action speaks louder than words, and that's true. And that's right there in Wellington Wall. And second thing, he has always believed in thinking 100x. He is an example who took a management institute from 2,000 square feet to 200,000 square feet. And a multi-millionaire institution today. And that's an example. And why, sir, we are honored that it is his love for the cause. It is his love for a student. He managed his diary and he did travel all the way from Mumbai for here for a couple of hours, and then I took that rightfully a request to get him here, and he was kind enough to do that. He is also chairman of European Union Chamber of Commerce, and that's that makes me request him to be part of this. So I'll request Dr. Uday Salunke sir, and I'll request sir and madam to felicitate Dr. Uday Salunke sir.
He's a leader of AIMS, transformational leader.
Madam, excuse me.
Thank you. So I'll request sir, please. I'm going to request anyway all our panelists to be here on the stage now. And while they are here, sir, please. While they are here, I'm going to set a bit context. And before I set the context, I want to really apologize. Apology for starting in 15 minutes late, but there was a reason. The whole idea of this conclave is connecting entrepreneurs from Maharashtra to the globe, and people from globe to connect into Maharashtra. There is a startup pitch fest which is running next door, and these gentlemen were kind enough to be there for a few minutes to see the amount of startup cohort that members they are there with the energy and something they want to take it to the globe. So I thought I requested them to provide their blessings to that room there, and that was the reason why we were late. And by the way, I think since yesterday we know that whatever is late is remembered most, so it's perfectly alright. The context here why we have these panelists here. The whole theme of our conclave is to connect Maharashtra to the globe and provide a vision to the global investors that what can they do in Maharashtra where they want to invest in opportunities, what they want to do it here. These four gentlemen, they are experts in their areas. Somebody who is living in Germany for last 2 decades is the best person to tell what it takes to do a business in Europe. And Germany is just one, but believe me, Europe is not one. There are many countries. So every country has a different way of looking at things. So it's not like going to America. Europe is different. Each nation is the nation. So somebody who has been there for last 20 years and helping business set up in Europe, we requested Ajit Ranade to be here. We requested Suyash sir. So there is a lot of collaboration and lot of support that is extended from our embassies or our consulates out there. Many people do not know. Many people do not know how to even approach. And many people do not know what a commercial wing of a council or what a commercial wing of an embassy can really come forward and help you. And trust me, and quote unquote, while they are government, they are very different than what you could experience somewhere else. They are the government who want to do something out there. So I will request Suyasa to bring in that perspective and talk about it, that what it takes for you to reach to agency and how agency can help you. A gentleman here who has been living there again can tell you that what do you do and what you don't do, because cultural aspects or there are many other aspects. A great storyteller can tell you in the story that what it takes to do and connect people. Connecting people is the most important part of doing any business. So I think that would be great. And sir, being a president of the European Chamber of Commerce, can give you a very different perspective on how the entire EU is looking at connecting there and connecting to Maharashtra. So I'm going to be doing a little bit of a work of probably facilitating the conversation, because we want this as a dialogue, not as a monologue. I mean, they're champ, they can talk for an hour. But that's not the idea. The idea is you need to ask the questions and they can possibly help you to get your answers. If you don't do it now, you're going to miss it. So I'm going to probably nudge audience to ask the right questions. So I'll hand it over probably. There is यहाँ पे भी वो पहले आप पे, but ठीक है, I'll pick that.
Professor ने चालू केल्यानंतर once the professor speaks, you know that 45 minutes to 1 hour. So don't take that risk, mother, please. I gave it to Government of India.
We come whenever there is a crisis. Amit asto. So tackle this crisis. First of all, let me thank the organizers and Garje Marathi for this opportunity. I consider myself a part of the team, and I am so glad to see that we are discussing on a very relevant contemporary topic, very important in today's times. And my role here would be to give you a government perspective as well as my experience of having lived in Germany for 4 years. That was my first posting, and whatever I could absorb, I would like to share that with you. Now to start the ball rolling, let me first ask you one thing. Who needs whom more? Does Europe need us, India, more, or does India need Europe more? I know there can't be a simple answer to this. Probably at a country level, they require us more because they require our market, they require our skills. And at an individual level, we need them more. Our people are wanting to go there, wanting to build a career for themselves, right? So where do we find a balance in this? Now, and if we continue this this thought process a step further, the steps or the areas in which Europe wants us to partner with them are very specific. It is not a vague answer. They want us in skill development, in skilled labor, right? They are looking at India as a huge market opportunity. We have been performing exceedingly well in terms of our economy, and this is where, in the current global scenario, you would find very few countries which will give this benefit in terms of the economy, in terms of the growth potential, in terms of skilled manpower, which is not going to harm your own economy and ecosystem. Indians have adopted themselves exceedingly well wherever they have gone, and Europe is watchful of this thing. They have had open borders because of their generosity, but that hasn't paid them back as well as it should have. They are facing a lot of issues, which probably because of our diverse demographics and the surroundings that we are in, we have been facing those things. Because of our diversity, we are very open to adaptation and to inculcate and assimilate in the local population. This is what they need. Now if I talk about Germany, this one country has signed migration mobility agreement with India. It has raised its visas from 10,000 to 90,000. There have been multiple visits. If you have been following Honorable Prime Minister closely, the team, Ministry of External Affairs, the German side, you see the warmth, you see the cooperation going on in multiple sectors, you would see that the opportunity exists. What we need to do is, along with the question of whether EU is calling us or not, which goes without saying, it is inviting Indians, we also as Indians need to address the question, what do we expect from EU, right? And what do we expect from our people going to the EU? So two things, I'll just sum it up in half a minute. What we expect from them is summarized in the 3 T's that we always stress upon. We need trade facilitated by people like you. We need tourism through people like you who are going to the EU, by creating that awareness and bringing back those people here. And the talent that is going abroad. Many people might like to call it brain drain or whatever, but we don't want India to be a brain jail as well, right? Brain drain no koi, but brain jail par nahi karayega. It has to be an open flow. And my ask of all the people here is, yes, EU is calling, and we'll elaborate on that thing. But when you go to EU, you need to ask yourselves 2 things. 1, what can I do to make them less uncomfortable because of my presence over there? So please learn the language, understand the culture, and make them feel comfortable because they are inviting you. You do not want them to feel uncomfortable because of you. And once you go there, yes, people who are living abroad are doing as much as they can for the country. But as Mahatma Gandhi said, what we do and what we are capable of doing, that difference would suffice in solving most of our problems. So if each one of you contributes in terms of trade, technology, tourism, and supporting vulnerable sections back at home, I think both EU and India would win in this situation. So that's my take on this. I'd like to hand over to elaborate on our opportunities in Germany.
Thank you, Suresh. First of all, many thanks to Garje Marathi, Intelligence युनिव्हर्सिटी आणि MEDC तिघांचं. आणि सर्वात महत्त्वाचं म्हणजे बिग थँक्स बिकॉज देर इज अ बिग अमाऊंट ऑफ Gen Z people. So many years back, 20 years back, I also used to be a student. It's very difficult to sit between a government officer and such a great professor. I have come from a very small village which was not on the map 10 years back. A small village from Kolhapur, and I came to Pune. And I will maybe, rather than telling this, I will try to portray my story as a representative of a Marathi manus, or let's say small Indian person who went to Germany, or let's say Europe. Many years back, I would say 13 years back, not 20, 13 years back, I wanted to go to USA just like many people. My visa got rejected and I landed in Germany. So this is my first story, very honestly. Because I knew only two people that time. One is Adolf Hitler, and Germany now happened. And second is our that time young crush, Steffi Graf. So, was not knowing a single word of German, and my voice company sent me there as a salesperson, imagine, to sell something to Germans, and that also engineering services. It was a very, very hard time in 13 years back, I would say. And but good thing, like Suyaji already mentioned, is which I learned from Germany, that like if you work hard, you understand them, you try to integrate with them, if you learn their language, doesn't matter, you can do whatever you want. So this is the outside world. And if some small person from a small village can do something, all these people can do great things in Germany or in the Europe, I would say. I will not talk about the bilateral trade, this and that, but I would tell you, like, for example, let's say there are currently 200,000 Indians in Germany. Only in the city of London there are 600,000 Indians, 6 lakh people. So still there is a lot of opportunity for Indians in overall Europe. I am not saying, I am not a diplomat, so I will try to say Germans, or let's say Europeans, have failed in one thing, and that is producing enough Germans or enough Europeans. So that's why, sorry for my direct words, but that's why people are needed there. And Suyaji has already worked on many areas, signed MOUs between the Baden-Württemberg state, the capital is Stuttgart, and the state of Maharashtra. And there is a lot of potential for young people to come to Europe, I would say. Not only for IT, life sciences, engineering, pharma, but even there is a definite possibility for, he can elaborate more, even for the drivers, carpenters, plumbers, electricians, nurses, healthcare professionals. And as honestly, I believe like our people should take this advantage. Okay, so to broaden their horizons. About you calling, yes, that's why Europe is calling you, not because they need you, they need us, I would say. 13 years back, one change I will tell you. 13 years back, when I used to go to the messes, the German word messe means exhibition, Pradarshan Marathi मध्ये आपल्या. Germany is known for big exhibitions, and the biggest exhibition grounds like Hanover, Frankfurt, Hamburg, Munich, they are there. So when I used to go there, hardly anyone tries to notice me, but today if I go to the to some exhibitions, if some old German sees me, because they are facing the success issue, the next generation is not coming to the business, they see me as a potential. Oh, this guy is probably from India, and they want to come to India. So this is the magic of India these days, even in Germany, and Germans know it. Earlier, maybe 20 years back, how India was represented, maybe yoga, little bit of Bollywood, okay, then maybe Ayurveda and all this thing. But today, many of them know about our sports. There are a lot of cricket grounds I would say the cricket teams in Germany now. Deutsche Cricket Bund, like Deutsche Cricket Bund has started in Germany. So this is the fame of India in Germany, I would say. Because earlier, and Germany is not known only for the Volkswagen or BMW or the Mercedes-Benz or SAP or BASF. These are 50 billion or 100 billion plus organizations. But the real backbone of Germany is Mittelstand companies. These people, gentlemen, know very well, and maybe more than 75% of the German industry is MSME, or German is called Mittelstand, and they also need people. So definitely, it's not only about Germany. Every European country, whether it is Italy or it is France, they have a unique history, they have unique culture. Probably, like for example, I'll tell you one more thing. When I was talking to discussing with my friend who is from Tamil Nadu in Germany, So this Tamil Nadu guy was understanding a little bit of Hindi, but we were talking in English, and this our Italian friend said, "Why you are talking in English? You should discuss in Indian language." Okay, Indian is a language, so a lot of times they don't understand like Indian. So, but good thing about them is they are very proud about their language, and this language is not only spoken language, the law, the medicine, everything, engineering, everything is in their particular language, whether it's Italian, whether it is German, whether it is French, and I really love this beauty of Europe, but definitely Europe needs us, and maybe they can add more.
Thank you, Ajitji. Thank you, Surajji, for opening batsman. First of all, I'll just narrate what this EU Council Chamber of Commerce in India is doing. Actually, first and foremost, this council exists for 33 years and dealing with almost 27 nations. But first, its objective is to promote business, trade and culture between EU and India. Second one is promoting lesser represented EU countries, because the larger, bigger countries sometimes they may not need. But be it Slovakia, be it Georgia, be it Hungary, be it Latvia, so those countries probably are not yet, these are virgin countries in a way. But nowadays you may hear, like everybody is going where? Baku, Azerbaijan, then Tashkent, the way in which things are exploding, actually exploding. So that's the way probably even recent my meetings with the ambassadors of Georgia, Slovakia, with this council, along with the team, really gave me sense that actually they are really looking forward to India. Probably Spain has stopped tourism, maybe from Indians or even globe, but that Zindagi Na Milegi Dobara is possible in all other countries at the first place. So second is promoting this lesser kind of represented EU countries, and for the sectors like manufacturing, be it renewable energy, be it technology, be it education, and the kind of focus is also on green energy, IT, pharmaceuticals as well, and strengthen people-to-people ties. In fact, skill building, as probably India has a strength of human capital, the phenomenal, we could see the hall is full. So probably as you mentioned about maybe Gen Z or Gen Millennium, I'm sure everybody is looking forward to explore the world. And actually we should leverage on our strength as kind of as a demographic, I'd say, dividend. So definitely the other aspect is call to action with the help of policymakers and different consulates. Now what is really needed, if I'm really looking at the younger generation here, and some of the seniors also here, but seniors don't need that kind of advice. But young generation, at least, first and foremost, as Madhavji did mention about, actions speak louder than words. For you to get connected seriously, what is first and foremost needed is the initiative. Initiative on your part. See, even though there are opportunities ample, but do you get the opportunity on your platter? I don't think so. You have to take that first step from your side, get connected with multiple such opportunities which are available through consulates, through many universities, invite partners across the world. So that initiative has to come from your side, and the way in which GMG, Garje Maharashtra Global, is actually organizing this forum, I must compliment the entire team, Ganuji, Madhavji, and I'm sure the leadership team which is sitting here. Let's give them a big hand, guys. So frankly, such kind of platform should be leveraged. And when I was just coming from Startup Peach Hall, that hall is also absolutely, totally full. People don't hear us. I'm seeing that people are actually peeping in, but there's no scope for them to come inside. So that shows that hall is full. And everybody is going to come to Government of India for visas now. You are saying that EU calling, but if you're going to wait for too long, which is not correct. So please start looking out for wherever you get opportunity in terms of take the initiative. What is that initiative in a simplistic way? It's not talk the talk. It is walk the talk. It's very easy for talk the talk, right? You can give, I'm sure many of the business school students are here. So they can give very good PowerPoint presentations. Awesome, outstanding presentations. Now your kind of chat GPT, Gemini, AI, everything has made your life easy, right? You can produce 2 minutes presentation ready. But friends, please try to understand that first action which is required. And keep aside, keep away. Normally, when we say Marathi or from Maharashtra, many of the students may be coming to Pune also. I'm sure a lot of students must be from Pune base. You must be coming from different parts of Maharashtra, right? Am I correct? How many of you are away from Pune and from some different parts of Maharashtra or so? Oh, I could see at least about 30% of the hands. So you'll really find sometimes we are having a bit of inhibition that my English is not really good. So I get bit kind of dampened, my spirit is dampened, or I take a back seat. Please, even though your background, as Ajit did mention about Kolhapur, so I come from Satara. Okay, I studied in Mumbai in Marathi medium, and that too in municipal school. Do you understand municipal school? Nowadays you may not, but yes, municipal school is a kind of community school. I'm in Mumbai till at least 7th standard. And then I moved to technical school, fortunately. But my point here is, past is past, which was not chosen by you. It was given to you by virtue of your family background. Your father or mother, you had no control. You're born in this country, that is a great blessing to you. So please make it a point, as Ajit did mention about language proficiency, to some extent, first acquire even English proficiency, and by efforts, everything happens by design thinking. You have to design outcome and work reverse engineering way with some kind of milestones. That fine, I'm not a good public speaker, but yes, maybe 6 months down the line, I should really be a good public speaker. But that calls for action. It's a bias for action, interest or inclination. You can achieve anything in the world, believe me. So first, go ahead with this. Second, which is always required, the passion. For suppose if someone is dreaming about specific country, be it Germany or be it Sweden, I can share with you one small story. One of my students of 2005-7 batch, Bhushan Soman, he was crazy about Sweden. Why, I don't know. I know all Scandinavian countries are superb. There's no question of quality of life. But he was psyched about Sweden. So he mentioned to me long back that, sir, after I passes out from the campus, I must go to Sweden. And I met him after some time, in fact in Stockholm itself. After campus, he got into IBM. From IBM, he worked in Bangalore. For Bangalore, he got an opportunity to go to China. So from China, then he landed in Stockholm again because he wanted to go to Sweden. So he was in Sweden. But I said, how did you achieve? No, sir, when I was in China, so I was working out how I can get into Sweden back. And he met Russian girl. So he met that Russian girl as a life partner. And she probably had very good access to Sweden or maybe European countries or so. So he landed there, now he's a citizen. Last week he came along with his wife, Natalia, his children, Mira and Aryan. Believe me, but he had very clearly, he was aware of the health focus point of view or the health benefits or quality of life. So I think whichever country you put your finger on, be it in Europe or be it in the world, everything is possible. Your role need to be like need analyst. As I believe Suyaji was mentioning, Ajit was mentioning, if you are pursuing maybe in manufacturing, if you are pursuing your operations, either in engineering or maybe in management point of view, and which sectors, I was just asking Ajit, which sectors within even manufacturing are really, there is a paucity of talent, because India has phenomenal talent. So if you start working in that direction, that fine, maybe auto components and the demand still in SMEs or MSMEs in Germany, can I really acquire some kind of proficiency in that sector? Can I do some kind of certificate courses? Can I do a bit of SWOT analysis for those SMEs, MSMEs in Germany? And can I make their weaknesses as my strength? Can I work out my profile that way? And that's the way if you start building up for whichever nation you're looking forward to, whichever company you're looking forward to. In my personal opinion, that is absolutely kind of, bound to be useful for you. And in this journey, even if you get a setbacks, you should not get bogged down. Seriously. Setbacks are good for the future. Learning from the failures is infinite. Because the successful leaders are what percentage? Maybe 1%? 2%? Be it leadership, be it innovation, be it entrepreneurship is not easy. It's not everybody's cup of tea. So you may go through multiple such kind of failures. Even keep yourself built up in terms of in your own eyes. And we normally use nowadays term as resilience, right? Many companies are giving placements for the students who have been through many failures. But still you could be there because of your ability to fight back adversity. And they give higher placement packages to them. Earlier what used to happen, if you fail, it used to be stigma. हम बोलते हैं डब्बा लग जाता है because I failed, maybe in venture, maybe in some kind of job, some kind of targets. It doesn't matter actually, but you should have that ability to bounce back. And I'm sure, be it EU Council, be it GMG, be it CI, be it FICCIs of the world. See, everybody is trying to be there definitely. And I've seen in Germany, I was part of the Prime Minister's one of the delegation in 2015 in Hanover and CI and all. Yeah. So even a lot of entrepreneurs from here were going when we were discussing during the lunchtime. And I could see a lot of entrepreneurs from Rajkot, Jamnagar, with some of the brass component manufacturing companies from Jamnagar. Many people are exploring. Only final my word here, sometimes you may have to invest maybe your resources. Resources means maybe your talent definitely, but sometimes even money from your side. Even though if you need to invest your money to probably explore those opportunities, doesn't matter. See, no business school or no college will give you free, like pro bono kind of opportunity to go and do 2-3 weeks internship. It doesn't happen. It costs to some extent because the fees of all our colleges are controlled a lot of times by the FRA, Fee Regulatory Authority. So even if it may cost maybe 1.5, 2 lakhs, 2.5 lakhs even to go there and explore, doesn't matter. The name of the game for the future, the significance of IBR is greater than ROI. What is IBR? Investment before returns is greater than ROI. My first, when I started with Nations Management way back in 97 August, to teach and even to learn, or maybe in 98, I spent 1 month in US with Booth School of Business, University of Chicago, on teacher as a leader or leader as a teacher. So that year I covered even US very closely, including MITs and Stanfords of the world. So today's campus, what you see, is just I have studied for NYU Stern, studied for Booth School and Kellogg's, and built Wellington in 2002. Likewise, in 1999 I invested in European side, the Frankfurt Oder University in Germany, border of Poland, Germany, as well as INSEAD in France and other countries as well. But till 2000, I invested quite a bit for my personal kind of savings. But I thought I should not wait for my institution to invest on me and send me, give me sponsorship. Then only I learn. Out of question. You need to take charge of your future, period. So that if you keep in mind IBR is greater than ROI, not necessarily I'll say only abroad, but even in India. So explore that as a way future and design your career for the long term. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Thank you. Maybe I'll tell a little bit of my own story then. So I'm a chemical engineer. I'm from Usmanabad district and I studied in Aurangabad for my engineering. Yeah, Sambhajinagar. So in 2006, I had an option either to go to US to do IT sales. I was in HCL at that point of time, or I could go to Amsterdam for work in a bank. And we decided to go to Europe, mainly because we were newly married and we wanted to have more fun. And US is very big and Europe is prettier. That's where it started. So when I went in 2006, Indians were not that common in Netherlands. I mean, compared to today there is a lot. But that point of time there was maybe a shop or two. People were very new. I remember that was the first time that the bank had done a senior management kind of a global program that is specifically hired outside EU. And that, I think, is still the reality. And there is a very key reason, as you talked about Germans not producing Germans, that Germany has a birth rate of 1.72. And there are a lot of European countries where it's even lower. Netherlands is 1.8. So it is still below 2.1. Frankly speaking, I think even Maharashtra's birth rate is below 2.1 at this moment. So even we need immigrants to a certain extent. So this is the reality that to maintain a certain life standard, you would need to have that kind of people, else you will not be able to provide the same resources. So Europe, as well as all countries, irrespective, will welcome people from all over because you need it. You need them for practical jobs like bus drivers or mechanics. You need them in IT. At one point of time, we were running it, and Netherlands produced 1,400 engineers, computer engineers, while the need was for thousands of engineers. And that's a challenge. So you will need to get people from other places to fill those jobs. I will also talk a little bit about what I felt because I spent like 1.5 to 2 months in Europe last year, and things have changed slightly. So, but if I take a look at my time in Netherlands for 10, 11 years, it was excellent. I mean, people speak English. Indians are generally welcomed. even that point of time, there was a little bit of difference happening because as part of corporate programs, I was reaching out. And of course, these same countries had imported a lot of workers from, say, Northern Africa and Middle East. And lot of the times, people were still wondering in terms of how it was. When you said about language, that is so important. I mean, it took me 10 years to get a little bit of working proficiency in Dutch. If I have to do it again, I think I would make that a priority to learn the language in the first 3 months. It absolutely doesn't matter how many mistakes you make. Because if you take a look at Europeans, their English isn't perfect. And nobody cares, right? As long as you can express your ideas in the language, this grammatical focus is very Indian sometimes, I feel. You should speak like a child, make 100 mistakes a day. That's the best way to learn the language. Doesn't matter. I mean, people, you start with that language, just a couple of words, and people will look at very happily with you. So I lived in Prague for a year as well, and I did that. So then, Dziękuję, naskalano, just hello and thank you. You start with that word, and everybody smiles at you. It's as simple as that. So I think that was very important. If I take a look at it, I do agree that Indians are much easier to integrate. We are more, we are okay. We are not that, I would say, fanatic in terms of how we live. So I always felt that people were much more open, welcoming. And now if I go, I have very close Dutch friends, Swedish friends. Sometimes they complain to me about immigrants. And I'm like, okay. So I also went through the other way. So I went to Netherlands, I stayed there for many years, I got the Dutch passport, and then I decided to come back to India. Also because I love my family and I wanted to be closer to my parents and my grandparents. But part of it, what you talked about, the initiative, that part is so important. I think what I realized is, if you take a look at young European kids, they have much more initiative. And they are not bothered, which I think we find it difficult because when I was doing my 10th or whatever, my 10th was 70 kids in a class, 11th, 12th was 120 kids in a class, engineering was 70 kids in a class. So I would imagine that the teachers don't find it easy to control, especially for adolescent kids who are full of hormones, so to speak. Against that, if you take a look at the European education system, which are much smaller classes, and there are a lot of teachers, there are 2-3 teachers and they take huge amount of time. So maybe the kids are not as, I wouldn't say smart, but they are maybe not as driven. No? Maybe we are better in mathematics, we are more driven, we can work 12 hours, but they are more independent. So if you tell them to do something and if they can do it, they will do it. I mean, that is something which is an education thing which we have. But if you go and work in Europe, you will very soon realize that is what everybody expects you to do. So I was a manager in India, in Chennai, an IT manager without coding experience, but with an MBA of course. So I managed a team of 35 and everything went absolutely fine. I went to Netherlands, my first team was 10 people. First meeting, I kind of in a bank. So these were all Dutch people, 45, 50, and I was a 26-year-old. And I said, okay, this is how we can do it. And they said, no, we are not going to do it. I said, what do I do? They completely refused. And then meeting was going on. Then one person said, it's 4 p.m. I need to go home. He packed his bag, he left. Because you work only 4 days a week. You start at 7, but you finish at 4. And at 4 you leave because you have to go home and take care of your kid from your daycare, for example. So you cannot delay it. There are no grandparents generally living with you to take care. Then couple of times I couldn't get meetings. So then I went to my manager and she said, you need to change it. You need to make friends with the secretaries. Because they had secretaries in big banks. It was the biggest bank in the country. So then I went around drinking coffee with all the secretaries of the managers so that I could actually get in the agenda. But yeah, once you can get into it, and he would know because sales is a huge amount of that. These people control the agenda. So how you work also changes. Coming back to initiative, I was in a bank and they have very nice coaching and all this and that. I realized banking is boring. I did not enjoy banking. I have always been a reader since I was a child. I used to read books. That was my passion. And Storytel was an audiobook company from Sweden. So I started listening to it on my day because I used to take a bike and a train to my work. So I reached out to the CEO of Storytel and said, you don't have anything like that in India, so let me go ahead and do it. And he said, okay, come pitch to us. So I went to Sweden, again on my own money after 3 months. I pitched them why they should do India. So he said, yeah, okay, go ahead and start India. And India has been up and downs, but I would say today there are 25-30,000 Storytel listeners in India who are paying on an average $300 and listening to 16 hours. But also because I like doing it. You know, one of the things which, as I said, I'm a chemical engineer, but I'm an extremely poor chemical engineer. I have a first class, but if you give me a question, I would find it very difficult to solve. And I regret that time. I don't know how many of you are kind of in MBA or next level or before that. But I feel, and that's what I tell my daughter, she's now in 11th standard, that you get this time, become good at something. Because somehow, I have a friend who talks, I mean, we walk around in Pune, right? We've got a fantastic metro. But you get out of metro and if you have to walk 100 meters, there is lack of footpaths, or how the hell do you walk? So, I think somewhere, at least what I feel is we have lost this being good. You know, maybe we want money, we want name, but being good at something. Forget about marks, nobody cares. You know, frankly speaking, my last job, I didn't give my resume, nobody asked me about my marks. And I'm pretty sure my next job will not be a job. I'm going to work for myself. That's 100% for sure. Because why would you want to rent out your time when you can do something for yourself? So, being good at something, going after what you want and trying for it, this actually works. And then on the final part, as I said, so birth rate means that you will be there, but at the same time, so Netherlands, when I was there, you could live for 5 years and apply for citizenship. Just last month, they have now introduced a legislation, not yet passed, I believe, that it would need 10 years for you to become a citizen. Germany, I mean, you also need to be aware. So if I take my time in Europe, 90% has been great. There were some isolated incidents where you can feel, okay, you are not European, which is obvious. I mean, that's how it happens everywhere. So be aware of that. At the same time, so if you take a look at going forward, on one hand, I do think Europe is going to come after India. Indians are hard workers in general. We are good in mathematics. We like working hard. We are not afraid to go ahead and do things. We are good in sciences. So they are going to come here. And if you are good, you are definitely going to take a chance. So as I said with Sweden, if tomorrow you decide you want to go and live in Portugal, I'm pretty sure you can. Irrespective. I mean, because what happens is as soon as you say it, something happens and you start thinking around it. I mean, if you just keep on thinking it, you're not going to do it, but you start seeing opportunities to make it happen. But at the same time, I think there is also an opportunity for India and EU to be closer in different senses as well, where, like in 10 years time, maybe I'm living in Netherlands, but I would still continue making Marathi stories. Or I would continue living in Maharashtra, but I might do Dutch stories. So I think till 2000, very few people left India. I was looking at the data, it was tens of thousands. From 2000 to now, that number has gone up to 200,000, 300,000, I think Suyash should know the exact numbers. If I take a look at next time, I'm like one example, but I know more than enough people now who have, after spending 10, 20, 25 years outside India, have now started to do India and outside, both of them, which I do think will be a part of it. And if you take a look at the next iteration that's going to come, especially with AI and everything, it's going to be maybe combined countries. And Europe and India, one of the nice things is we have very nice synergy. There is no geopolitical tension, there is no fundamental ideological tension we have with them. So I feel that there is a very nice synergy between EU and India, which could benefit everybody who wants to go for it.
I'm tempted to give some. When I lived in Europe, I used to manage 10 countries in Europe, and I used to manage business for 40 million euros. That's good amount of money for me to be talking about. I'm going to probably give some practical tips from an entrepreneurship perspective, and from if you decide to do something in Europe, what you would be looking at. At first place, while we say Europe, Europe is one reference and EU. But each country is independent nation. When I managed 10 countries, I had to know what is there in Spain. I had to know what is there in Germany, what is different in Czech Republic, what is different in Poland, what is different in Slovenia, what is different in Austria. Each of them take a lot of pride in saying that I am Spanish, I am French, I am German, I am Dutch, I am Swedish, I am whatever. So if you're planning to do something in Europe, at first place, what I suggest is study the country. Make a list. Second thing is, when you study your country, also study their focus areas, which is available openly on their embassy portals. Their embassy portal, not Indian embassy portals. Their embassy portal, that this is what they are looking at. Like today, Germany is looking at skill, particularly in Baden-Württemberg. So you know what is their focus area. Don't go and try to sell what you want to sell. Go and sell what they want to buy. Simple. That's the second thing. Third thing is, the moment you figured out what is a priority for that country, what is a priority for that nation, come to our Indian embassy and our Indian friends there. They will help you to find out what are the bilateral agreements between these two nations. Because that eases out some of your efforts. If you are going into something and there is already agreement, you don't need to go and tell them there is agreement. They would know. That's the third thing. Fourth thing, like he said, that go and learn at least hi, hello in each language there. We think that English is a European language. It is not. There are enough people who don't want to listen to English. When I landed in France for the first time, I was trying to find out how to go to Eiffel Tower. That's what I learned, that Eiffel Tower is the Eiffel Tower in my school days. But they call it a Tour Eiffel. I spent 30 minutes in buying a ticket to Eiffel Tower, and I never got a ticket to Eiffel Tower. I was not asking for the right tower. But when I asked in Marathi, and this was all happening in English, then I said, okay, there is a tension between French, English, and with no political reference here, okay? But then I asked him, Are Baba, मला Eiffel Tower ला जायचं ticket दे ना. Now it was his turn to get fumbled. I don't know even this language. He's speaking something which I don't even understand. No, trust me, this happened. There are people witness in this room. So try to use that wisely. And then he understood. He was all the way understanding that I wanted to go to Tour Eiffel, but he refused to talk to me because I was asking in English. The moment I asked in Marathi, and it is the same, Ajit is evident of this. I went to Hubbarov and during COVID time, and I told that guy, अरे बाबा तुला एवढं पण कळत नाही का मी काय तुला विचारत होते. माझ्या हातात तिकीट आहे, डॉइचबॅनचं तिकीट आहे. त्याला फक्त डॉइचबॅन कळलं आणि पुढचं सगळं तरी मला करून दिलं जे काही करायचं होतं. Practical tips. How do you go to a nation where you don't know the language? But pick up something which will connect you. So that connecting to people and connecting to local culture is very important. Then there are certain things you don't do going to that nation. And there are certain things you definitely do going in that nation. You can't go to France and talk about your tea. Even if you don't drink wine, I don't. Talk about wine. Find out what's there. And ask the very innocent question that I know nothing about wine. Then they will start. This is the auction wine, this wine, that wine. That's okay. Even if you don't understand anything, but you connect. Go to Spain and go to Germany, start talking about football. Oh, they would love. Okay? Go to Poland. Don't talk about the Schwarz and all that Jew locations. No, that's the black history. So you don't do that. Don't take a pride in saying that I went and I watched that. No. But rather try to find out how Poland is geographically so different. You go to Gdansk, they have a German influence. You go to Zakopane, they have a very, very Russian or Ukrainian influence. You go to center of Poland, different experience. Find out what is there. And last couple of things, when you want to build either relations, whatever, as a business or otherwise, eye for detail and quality matters. Chalta hai wala approach doesn't work in Europe. It doesn't work. I mean, it doesn't work generally anywhere. It shouldn't be working, at least for us as well. But we are like, ठीक है, no, don't do that. I went to Munich. A meeting was supposed to start at 4. 3:59, no one was there. Suddenly 3:59, tick, 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 everybody appeared. Meeting started. I was there for another meeting. 3:59, no one was there. 4 o'clock, no one was there. 4:03 or 4:05, meeting cancelled, everybody went back to their desk. They don't do meeting if it is late. Then you have to go and ask for a reschedulement of meeting. You miss the time. Okay, so find out what is there in those individual nations. They have their own way of working, behaving, communicating, and you want to really study hard before you go there. You can't go there ki chalo jaake dekhte and let's try to do something. Doesn't work there. Trust me, it doesn't work there. And the last thing before I can hand it over to audience or to our panelists, the moment you decide that I want to go to Europe, try to also find out what are other nations trying to do with Europe. Trust me, we have enough competitors. While you think that I am great, so today we are not, or maybe, sir, please excuse me, but we don't know how great we are in textile we wear, but today we are not. You go to any store in Germany, any store in Europe, you will find Bangladesh sending more textile garments there than what you are trying to do. So you can't really go. You need to know who are my competitors dealing what in that nation. So only studying my nation and their nation doesn't help. Study what other nations and they are doing so that you can find out where is that white space and where is that I can fill in the gap. Okay? I'll take a pause here, but I think I'm sure that you will have a lot of questions and there are a lot of great people here. Please take this opportunity.
Sir, I have a question.
Yes, please.
Actually,
Whichever area you wish to export, you have to write down not a detailed but at least a synopsis of what your company is, what you have done so far, what your expertise is, what in a paragraph each, why do you think this market is suitable for you, and then you request the embassy for whatever details they could provide. What could these details be? We have from the local government, each embassy, each consulate has, we request and we secure, we get from them a list of importers, a list of possible people who could be connected in that particular sector. But this can't be true of every sector. Probably your sector is very specific, but then the embassy can reach out to certain people who can provide that contact. That being said, you have to understand an embassy is not like a huge institution. A big embassy also does not have as many people as you are here. And we cater to the entire diaspora in the country and the entire Indian population wanting some information. So that catch is there. But whenever you email that, if we see that there is merit in this company, we are here to do business. We mean business. We in the Ministry of External Affairs, our mandate is to promote our business. And we are putting in extra hours, extra effort to ensure that. So whenever we see that a company is serious enough, it is putting in its own efforts in finding out certain relevant aspects of the market, then we also go beyond our working hours, finding out what should be the suitable person or probably a company that could be connected to. Third thing I would say is finding relevant, for example in Europe, like Ajit ji mentioned, messages are extremely important. Germany does business through its trade fairs. So is there a relevant trade fair in your sector? Second. Third, are there people from your sector which are present in that location? Here is where I would also like to add a broader point. What we all should aim at is a sort of Marathi LinkedIn, which with the help of GMG, we can try to create and build in order to mentor our next generation and also to support businesses from different geographies. So that is where you can reach out to our diaspora also. It is such a potent weapon that India has, which we have not been utilizing. Our people are experts in diverse fields. If you just put it out, you send it to the embassy along with specific contacts of importers or companies which would be interested in your product. Also ask for contact of certain community member in that country if you are yourself not connected. So for example, Slovenia for that matter, or tomorrow you would want to go to Korea for that matter. You write to the embassy and request them a contact of any Indian diaspora member who would be a resource person for you. The embassy would put it out in the wider group. Whoever is interested would be connected to you. And through the diaspora, you don't even know which diaspora member has which connection which might be useful to you to know. So this is what from the government side you could expect, and I think there are countless number of companies which have been helped through the embassy. You can also go through our Ministry of Commerce portal. There is a Trade Connect portal which has been recently launched. You could go and find out relevant importers and all through that, and similarly companies that are abroad which reach out to you people. So if they wish to export something to India, they could go to the portal and seek that information. So this is from the government point of view, but if anyone else would want to add.
Actually, the product is very niche. There are only 3-4 manufacturers in the world, and one of the company is in Germany. Okay. The problem is, even though our product is much superior, we can give much competitive rates. That is their problem. So that is a tough time to enter Germany and all this because of the rates.
I mean, as much as I want your product to enter the market, there is no easy answer. We will have to go the hard way. We will have to convince them the other way around. You cannot tell them that it is superior quality but it is affordable. You will have to tell them it is affordable but it is not Chinese. It is also a quality product. Right? So you have to convince them about your quality. Germans, Europe in general is not a price sensitive market as much as what India or Asia is. There you can't play on your product's price. You have to play on quality. Then you have to tell it is at par with global standard. And then we also have this added advantage of being slightly affordable if you wish to purchase it at that price point, right? So that should be, your pitch has to be perfect, pitch has to be in German, pitch has to be relevant to that market, and you have to target the right people over there. So this thing, of course, all of us, embassy, diaspora can help you in that, but the homework has to be done by you first, be it any company.
I'll take a little liberty. So gentleman here, Ajit Ranade, he is the guy to go if you want to go in Germany. So I think after this you can connect offline and who knows that he is the person.
We put Kolhapur.
ते जर्मनी तुम्ही पण जर्मनीचे आता एवढं मी लय भारी म्हणेन मी Suresh has already covered most of the things from the government side, and the way he has handled the commercial Munich was amazing. So he can give the exact details about the India-Germany bilateral trade, how it was 26 billion now, 33 billion today, and everything. You can get all the details. As a person on ground, I can tell you, like most of the things he has already mentioned, like you need to connect with the diaspora. Our Indian diaspora, Indian community in every country is the real core of India. Okay, so definitely you can connect with them. And as he correctly mentioned, like for example, if I go to Switzerland and the Rolex is the world famous watch, right? So in Switzerland it's said that if you say something, no, this is very less expensive, cheap, it is bad. Yeah. Whatever is expensive is good. That is the way Swiss people look at it. Okay, so the price affordability, or it is.
So you can increase the price.
Yeah. The second thing, of course, and second thing, whether your products are matching the norms of European EU countries. That is also important. Okay, so this is very very important. And third thing, as Suresh mentioned, okay, you can connect with the CGI or the embassy of Berlin. That is true. But we can try. For example, if you go on Facebook, you will see all the foreigners are Indians in Germany, in Deutschland. Go and shoot I am doing this. You never know who will read it and come back to you. You can always try this. Apart from this, there is the Indo-German Chamber of Commerce. There are more than 2,000 German companies, and maybe I don't know the exact number of how many European companies. So 2,000 German companies in India. There is Indo-German Chamber of Commerce. Similarly, there is IHK, India Industry Handelskammer in Germany. So then you can connect with them also. There is a Deutsche Indische Mittelstand, German Indian Mittelstand or MSME organization. You can connect with them. They have representatives here in Pune as well. So there are multiple things. You can connect locally also here. There are a lot of Germans or Europeans living in Pune also. Okay, so there are a lot of chance, good opportunities to connect with them.
I'll just give a different perspective. Maybe I think what both of them said is far more applicable. We also try to meet up, even though we are in education, we try to meet up definitely with the consulate people, as already Suyashi mentioned. Like Gopi Shoshanis, yesterday he was, I believe, here or today. Last week he just asked us, that are you okay to work on so-and-so project and funding will be few $1,000s? Absolutely we were open to. Because trade and investment commissioners of every consulate is very active, including German, be it Finland, be it maybe Swedish, everyone. And our experience, definitely when Swedish entrepreneurs wanted to penetrate India in renewable energy space, 11 entrepreneurs. So Swedish Energy Agency, Swedish Consulate, our partners in Sweden, they came together, we came together with CI and all. So multiple stakeholders we worked on. So you really find sometimes the easier route is also academic to academic, maybe in Pune or maybe some of the institutions which are working with German universities. That route is also easier because the German university may have network locally. See, we work with Standby's University in Germany. They have the Berlin School of Creative Leadership. We have Bamberg University. We have Stuttgart University in fact, Media University in Stuttgart. So probably we also try to follow the route, but this route is maybe sometimes far more easier because if your partners are aware of local market so easily, they can probably scout for that matchmaking decently well. Yeah, that's the way. Only I'm just touching base on what you said, Madhav, very frankly, like cultural nuances, which already they have mentioned. We have been taught by one of our prof, Dr. Gundlekar, Srinivas Gundlekar. He was one of the top-end professor in Kaizen. In Japan actually was forte for him. And he was the first doctor in Kaizen. So he taught us very clearly, for Japan or anywhere in the world it is applicable, please, sorry, thank you. These 3 words you must learn, which is non-negotiable. And being punctual, as you rightly said. In fact, we've never been late for any meeting anywhere in the world. Even if you need to do Reiki, previous day, there are 3 train tracks you have to change, do that. Maybe 5 minutes before you may go to reception, a minute before you may go to specific floors. So they should not treat us like we are from the barbarian country. So understanding the cultural nuances of any country, you may not be drinking wine. But if they serve you, you need not to say no to it. I still remember in one of the cases, the Japanese professor at night 11 o'clock, the signals were on and there was no traffic. He's Dr. Professor Sasaki Sensei. And he said, no, we can cross the road. But we taught our students, we taught our profs as well, even though he may say, there's no traffic, but we should keep in mind we are representing India and our image in the eyes of the world. We should not break that law at all. Even though there's no traffic, wait for maybe a minute, half a minute, 2 minutes, whatever. But there are many such kind of nuances which are there. So homework is absolutely required, be it business, be it even our own kind of personal learning also. Thank you.
नमस्कार, माझं नाव विवेक जोशी. माझी मुलगी अदर साइड ऑफ द प्रॉब्लेम. माझी मुलगी जर्मनीमध्ये असते आणि शी इज अ जर्मन सिटीजन. शी वॉन्ट्स टू रिप्रेझेंट इंडियन बिझनेसेस इन युरोप. हाऊ कॅन शी डू दॅट?
तुमची मुलगी जर्मन सिटीजन आहे आणि ती सध्या जॉब करते नाही करते?
प्रेझेंटली करते.
अच्छा, ओके. म्हणजे कारण जर्मनीमध्ये काही गोष्टी आहेत की समजा आपण जॉब करत असतो तर ऍटलीस्ट आपल्या एम्प्लॉयरला सांगणं गरजेचं असतं की बाकी पार्ट टाइम काय करतोय.
शी इज रेडी टू लिव्ह द जॉब.
नाही, जस्ट सांगितलं तुम्हाला बऱ्याच वेळा. म्हणजे इकडंच आपलं चालूच होतं, पण ही इथिक्स तिथं पाळायला लागतात. पहिली गोष्ट तर तिला प्रेझेंट करायचं असेल तर म्हणजे आता फॉर एक्झाम्पल कॉन्सुलेट्स किंवा एम्बसी असतात, त्यांनी इंडियन बिझनेस फोरम्स तयार केलेले आहेत. आतापर्यंत ती समजा कुठे नसेल तर तिला अशा कुठल्या गावात मध्ये ती आलममध्ये म्हणजे मला वाटतं स्टुटगार्ट जवळ आहे. तर कॉन्सुलेट ऑफ म्युनिक आणि त्यांचं स्वतःचं एक स्टुटगार्टला पण त्यांचं एक ऑफिस आहे. तिथं तुम्ही IBF इंडियन बिझनेस फोरम अशा पद्धतीच्या ह्याच्यामध्ये करू शकता. याशिवाय म्हणजे तिथं त्यांना कळेल की जर्मनीत राहणारी आपली भारतीय मंडळी सुद्धा काय काय करतात. खूप लोक जर्मनीतले रिप्रेझेंट करतात अशा बिझनेस फोरम्सना. दुसरी गोष्ट वेगवेगळे इंडियन बिझनेस फोरम्स असतील, मी सांगितलं असं, किंवा इंडो जर्मन चेंबर ऑफ कॉमर्स IGCC असेल किंवा इहाका असेल, किंवा इव्हन प्रत्येक गावामध्ये वेगवेगळे इंडियन कम्युनिटीज आहेत मोठ्या मोठ्या त्या राज्यांच्या, किंवा क्रिकेट हे असतील तर त्याच्यामध्ये पण बिझनेस फोरम्स आहेत. सो पहिलं जर तिनं आतापर्यंत असं केलं नसेल तर ती थोडं मिंगल होते, इंटिग्रेट होते, अंदाज येईल लोक काय करतायत. आणि त्याच्यानंतर ऑफिशियली जर काय करायचं असेल समजा तिला, शी कॅन बिकम फ्रीलान्सर. नंतर शी कॅन स्टार्ट UG म्हणतात त्याला, इंटरनेशनल गॅजेट शॉप, म्हणजे मे बी भारतामध्ये त्याला शॉपॅक लायसन्स म्हणतात असावे. नंतर शी कॅन स्टार्ट GMBH त्याला भारतात प्रायव्हेट लिमिटेड म्हणतात. एवढ्या लेवलची गरज नाही आहे. इनिशियली फ्रीलान्सर म्हणून सुरू करू शकते आणि सांगू शकते की स्वतःच्या पद्धतीने मी अशा यांना रिप्रेझेंट करणार आहे भारतीय कंपनीजना जर्मनीमध्ये, अशा पद्धतीनं करू शकते. पण प्रोव्हाइडेड सर्वात महत्त्वाचं, भारतीय कंपनीजना हेल्प करायची जर्मनी असेल जर्मनीमध्ये भारतीय कंपनीजना, तर तिला ते नॉलेज असणं गरजेचं आहे की कुठला सेक्टर स्पेसिफिक आहे. कारण आपण जेव्हा एखाद्या इथे विचारतो काही मुलांना, म्हणजे आपल्या लोकांना बऱ्याच वेळा बॉलिवूड, क्रिकेट, राजकारण सगळीकडे आपण म्हणजे वरती असतो. पण जर्मनीमध्ये किंवा युरोपमध्ये गेल्यानंतर विचारलं की तुला हे माहिती आहे का, हे माहीत नाही म्हणून सांगा. एकदम लेझरचा फोकस असतो. त्यामुळं सगळ्याच गोष्टीची माहिती असं ना, कुठला तरी एक सेक्टर निवडून त्याच्यामध्ये जर ज्याला सिंगल असं फोकस म्हणतात, तर असं युरोपियन्सना आवडतं. कारण बऱ्याच वेळा आपले भारतीय उद्योजक किंवा मी पण त्याला अपवाद नाही, तुम्ही काय करता असं जेव्हा माझी कंपनी 10 वर्षावर विचारायची, आम्ही इंजिनिअरिंगमध्ये सगळं करतो, मला उभं पण नाही करायचं. पण जेव्हा मी सांगायला लागलो की एंड ऑफ लाईन स्टेशन्स असतात असेंब्लीमध्ये लागणारे मेकॅनिकल्स मध्ये, तेवढंच मी करतो. असं 10 लोकांना सांगितलं, मग त्यातले 2 लोक म्हणाले की नाही यांचा फोकस दिसतोय काय, तेव्हा असं काहीतरी फोकस एरिया काहीतरी त्याने डिफाईन करावं बस.
I'd like to expand on that thought. पहिले तर जोशी सरांना मी काल बोललोय आणि I'd like to make everyone aware of the incredible work he is doing in bringing in water conservation and improving livelihoods in multiple villages across Maharashtra. आणि हा जो थॉट आहे ताईंच्या मनात की आपण जर्मनीत राहून इंडियाला रिप्रेझेंट करावं आणि तिथल्या कंपनीजना आपण गाईड करावं, इट इज सच अ वंडरफुल थिंग. इतकं महत्वाचं आहे. का मी सांगतो तुम्हाला, आपल्यापैकी किती जणांना औरिक सिटी बद्दल माहिती आहे? औरिक हार्डली 2-3%. ओके, औरिक काय? बरं, मी अजून एक हिंट देतो तुम्हाला. छत्रपती संभाजीनगर मध्ये च्या आसपास हे औरिक हे प्रकरण घडत आहे. माहिती आहे तुम्हाला? आपल्या महाराष्ट्रात होते हे. इट इज वन ऑफ द लार्जेस्ट ग्रीनफील्ड इंडस्ट्रियल इन्व्हेस्टमेंट झोन्स विच इज बीइंग बिल्ड ओव्हर देअर. इन्फ्रास्ट्रक्चर रेडी आहे, कंपनीज आलेले आहेत, ठीक आहे, पण हे आपल्याला माहिती नाही. समृद्धी महामार्ग माहिती आहे का? हा माहिती आहे आपल्याला, थँक्यू. पण हा किती जर्मन्सना माहिती असेल ना? बरं, आता मी एक जर्मन कंपनी आहे, ठीक आहे, मिडल स्टँड म्हणजे जसं आधी सांगितलं तसं मीडियम स्मॉल स्केल इंडस्ट्री. पण आपल्यासारख्या नाहीये. तिथल्या मीडियम स्मॉल स्केल इंडस्ट्रीज म्हणजे त्यांना आपली खूप गरज आहे अशातला भाग नाहीये. दे आर लीडर्स, मार्केट लीडर्स इन देअर ओन फील्ड. कित्येक नावाजलेली जर्मन ब्रँड्स ही मिडल स्टँड आहेत, पण जगभर प्रसिद्ध आहे. पण ते जगभर आहेत म्हणजे इंडियामध्ये आहेत का? तर आम्ही अशी एक यादी बनवली होती की अशा किती कंपनीज आहेत ज्या परदेशात आहेत, आपल्या नेबरहुड मध्ये आहेत, पण इंडियात नाही. मग अशा कंपनीजला आम्ही, दिस ऑल्सो गिव्स यू एन इनसाइट ऑफ व्हॉट एम्बसी और कॉन्सुलेट डज. तर ॲज अ कमर्शियल रिप्रेझेंटेटिव्ह देन वी रीच्ड आउट टू दोज कंपनीज, त्यांना हे सांगण्यासाठी की आम्ही तो स्नेक चार्मर्सचा देश नाही येत आता, वी आर वे बियॉन्ड व्हॉट यू आर इमॅजिनिंग. आणि हे का सांगावं लागतं? कारण जर्मन मीडिया हॅज नॉट बीन व्हेरी काइंड टू अस. ठीक आहे, आय डोंट वॉन्ट टू कमेंट ऑन किती ट्रुथफुल आणि काय असतं ते ठीक आहे, पण वन साइड ऑफ द स्टोरी दाखवून तुम्ही जस्टिफाय नाही करू शकत. आमच्या देशात प्रॉब्लेम्स आहेत, त्याची कारणं आहेत. आमचा बेसलाईन का खाली गेला त्याची कारणं आहेत. पण तिथून आम्ही कसे वाढलोय, आमच्या देशात चांगलं काय होतंय ते पण दाखवलं पाहिजे. जर तुम्ही आमच्या रस्त्यावरचे खड्डे दाखवताय तर तेच रस्ते आम्ही कसे सुधारवले. सगळ्यात जास्त एक्सप्रेसवे बनवण्याचा रेट आमच्याकडे आहे, सगळ्यात जास्त इन्व्हेस्टमेंट आम्ही घेऊन येतोय. हे कोण सांगणार त्यांना? हु विल बी गाइडिंग देम अबाउट दिस? नाउ यू वुड से की तुम्ही काय आम्हाला विचारताय, तुमचंच काम आहे तुम्ही म्हणा. बट अगेन there are so many Germans and I cannot reach out to each one of them. So what you have to do, or what people in Germany किंवा ताईंच्या मनात जसं आहे ते, we have to take this to them and inform ki look, this is the kind of infrastructure that is being developed in Aurangabad or Chhatrapati Sambhajinagar. का सांगणं गरजेचं आहे? For a Mittelstand like me, which has global presence, I am proud of myself, of my presence, of the quality of my product. मी इंडियात का जावं? Because Chinese embassy is reaching out to me, Indonesia is reaching out, Vietnam is reaching out. सगळ्या ह्या कंट्रीज येतात ना, मग इंडियाच का? बरं, इंडियात असलं तरी तुम्हाला अजून एक किस्सा सांगतो. दर दुसऱ्या महिन्याला एक डेलिगेशन येतं इंडियामधलं. तमिळनाडूचं येतं, महाराष्ट्राचं येतं, आंध्र प्रदेशचं येतं. आधी महाराष्ट्राचं डेलिगेशन येऊन काय सांगतं? महाराष्ट्र इज नंबर 1. मग तेलंगणा येऊन काय सांगतं? तेलंगणा इज नंबर 1. मग तमिळनाडू येऊन काय सांगतं? त्यांना प्रश्न पडला ना, इतके कसे नंबर 1 आहेत तुमचे? बरोबर. मग देन दे रिच आउट टू अस, या काय भानगड आहे? मग आम्हाला नाकी नऊ येतात ते सांग. बरं, तिथपर्यंत ठीक आहे, आमचं नंबर 1, पण तो काय तसं नाही येते, तुम्हाला रियालिटी सांगतो. तिथे जाऊन कशाला रियालिटी सांगायची आहेत. Now when they are planning to come to India, they are not expecting a USA over here ना. They know what India is. ठीक आहे, आपले प्रॉब्लेम्स त्यांना परत सांगण्याची गरज नाही, त्यांना माहिती आहे. त्या प्रॉब्लेम्सवर आपण काय केलंय ते सांगावं लागतं. इवन इफ यू फॉलो प्राईम मिनिस्टर अँड एक्सटर्नल अफेअर्स मिनिस्टर आणि नितीन गडकरीजी, 3 जण फॉलो करा, तुम्हाला सगळी क्लॅरिटी येईल की देशात काय चांगलं सुरू आहे. आणि तीच गोष्ट तुमच्या थ्रू जर पुढे कळवली तर बस, तुम्हाला दुसरं पॉझिटिव्ह फील गुड पिक्चर पेंट करण्याची गरज नाही. वी थिंक दॅट एव्हरीबडी फॉलोज आवर पीएम, विच शुड बी द केस, पण दे आर अनफॉर्च्युनेट की ते फॉलो करत नाही. वी कॅनॉट कन्व्हिन्स देम टू फॉलो हिम, बट देन इट इज आवर रिस्पॉन्सिबिलिटी टू ट्रान्सलेट दॅट इन अ लँग्वेज दॅट दे अंडरस्टँड, in a way, in a manner that they understand, in words that they understand, and convey it to them. हे जर आता काही तिथे करत असतील तर the consulate, the embassy would be more than happy to welcome her and include her in a part of a group, like the groups in which Ajit ji is working or other teammates are working, and we can together reach out to all these companies. उद्देश एकच आहे, त्या कंपनीजला आपल्याला इकडे तिकडे न जाता आपल्या भारतात आणायचंय, भारतात पण महाराष्ट्रात, आणि महाराष्ट्रात पण इक्विटेबल डेव्हलपमेंट झालं पाहिजे. आय डोंट वॉन्ट पीपल फ्रॉम बीड अँड गडचिरोली कमिंग टू पुणे फॉर देअर वर्क. तुम्हाला उदाहरण सांगतो, मला या इव्हेंटसाठी जो ड्रायव्हर घेऊन आला ना, त्या ड्रायव्हरनी हॉटेल मॅनेजमेंट केलं. त्या पोरांनी हॉटेल मॅनेजमेंट 3 लाख रुपये देऊन त्यांनी केलं. आई वडील शेतकरी, त्याच्या भावाने MCA केले कॉम्प्युटर्स मध्ये. तो कशाला त्यांनी पुण्यात येऊन कार का चालवली पाहिजे, कॅब? वाय कांट ही गो टू जर्मनी? मग मला लोक म्हणतील ब्रेन ड्रेन. श्रीमंतांची पोरं बाहेर गेली ती ब्रेन ड्रेन नाही का? त्यांना थांबवता का तुम्ही की नाही बाबा तू खूप मोठा माणूस आहेस, तुझ्या पोराला नको पाहू? नाही ना. सो दिस हॅज टू चेंज. देअर कंपनीज वी नीड टू इन्व्हाइट हिअर अँड आवर स्किल्ड टॅलेंट हॅज टू गो आउट देअर अँड दॅट इकोसिस्टम हॅज टू बी बिल्ड, ज्याच्यामध्ये ताईंचा खूप मोठा रोल राहणार आहे. सो आय कॉंग्रॅच्युलेट यू अँड युअर फॅमिली फॉर दिस.
So sorry, I have to do an unpopular job, but I'm also looking at the watch. We cannot be late both times. So maybe your last questions, and but I'll give you an opportunity. The gentlemen are still going to be around. Okay, we have another session starting in some time, and please do make sure that connect with these people. They are here. They are there to answer your questions. But let's respect time. And maybe your last question, you're holding a mic. Otherwise, I will stop that as well.
I just take 60 seconds. Women are raising hand, so maybe.
Yeah. Maybe I'll
2 or maybe whatever.
Yes.
So I'll just take 60 seconds. Thank you, sir. It was a great opportunity to discuss with you. You have already answered all of my questions. Still, one question in my mind. I was doing a job in Germany. I spent 11 years with a German international company, last best of the list. Yeah, so you might know the name. So after that, I started my entrepreneur career. I'm a Marathi entrepreneur, and already started this journey 5 years back. And I'm using imported German wood, using German machinery, and sending all products to the Germany. Yeah. But there are so many challenges, and that's why we need a GMG group. And because we are from the India, we have very less. What we say, weightage to our product. Why? Because I'll tell you, the market is already captured by China. Yeah? And German has a lot of influence of the China. And we want to tackle or defend our product in their market. It's a big challenge for us. So we seek support from you, sir. So GMG group will definitely help us. Like this, there are a lot of Marathi entrepreneurs who are ready to sell all products, trade with the German or Euro, France, Netherlands, yeah, and we seek a support from you. So please help us to get the contact details of all GMG, and of course DGFT is already there. We are already aligned with the DGFT, but like you sir, we need your guidance. Yeah, thank you.
जितके entrepreneurs आहेत, we can probably sit together and then formulate की कशा पद्धतीने आपण reach out करायचं, and I'll definitely help. मिनिस्ट्रीच्या वतीने तर मी सांगतो, मी तर आहेच आहे, आणि अँबॅसेडर पण महाराष्ट्रीयन आहेत बाय द वे. जर्मनी आणि महाराष्ट्राचं काय नातं आहे माहिती नाही, कुणीतरी आपला एक माणूस तिकडे असतो आणि नसला तरी इथून तो कोऑर्डिनेट करत असतो, मदत करत असतो. सो विल बी देअर ऑलवेज.
साधारणपणे मी फ्रँकफर्टला राहतो. फ्रँकफर्टला याच्या आधी प्रतिभा पारकरजी कॉन्स्टिट्यूट जनरल होत्या, त्यांचे हजबंड म्युनिकचे कॉन्स्टिट्यूट जनरल होते, दोघेही मराठी. त्याच्यानंतर मला वाटलं नॉन मराठी पण अमित तेलंग सर आले, ते पण मराठी, जर्मनीमध्ये 3 वर्ष होते. आत्ता मराठी नाही आहेत, पण आम्हाला आज भेटले परत. ते सर ॲज ई सेड अँबॅसेडर इज मराठी माणूस आहे.
Thank you so much. My name is Saili Bongshe. Me at the senior consultant at KPMG into sustainability and ESG. Primarily, why right now we are catering to the European market, mostly in Germany, Belgium, Netherlands, companies helping into their ESG journey. For someone like me who's coming from Pune, not gone there and stayed there, worked with them, how easy or difficult it would be for somebody to start a venture, start a company in Germany and work with the companies to helping their sustainability and ESG journey, primarily because sustainability and ESG is something that only the top companies right now are mandated to do. So so I would be expected to speak with the bigger companies, the head of departments. How would Germans perceive someone who's coming from India with the expertise, and whether that would be welcomed? Connecting to the this point to the thing how India is being perceived is what you had explained right now. And what are the current, considering the current economic situation that is happening in Germany, the people are more, not wanting the current government policies and wanting more I won't say anti-immigrants, but something which is more stringent on immigration. How do you see a transition in someone starting a business in Germany?
So, starting a business in Germany, I would say I will categorize a person. Let's say Indian person. You are an Indian person living in Germany. For him or her, starting a business in Germany is one thing. And for someone like you who's currently living here, I assume, starting a business in Germany are 2 different things. For, as I mentioned, like if someone is living in Germany and he or she holds, let's say, the permanent residency or and is allowed to do something, he or she can easily start a company in Germany. There are 3-4 different forms, as mentioned. UG, Unternehmer shop, kind of shop at license, GmbH. So this is the legal procedure. Okay, but since you are working with a prestigious consultancy like advisory company like KPMG, and the sustainability, this is a big area currently. Overall, at least in European countries, it is followed. There are a lot of norms for this sustainability, and I think many companies are just like in the past. Companies were investing in CSR. Sustainability is a buzzword, not only a buzzword. Companies are investing in it. So there are some very specific conferences as well as let's say some kind of trade shows currently going on in Germany. How people living in non-European countries can come to Germany and contribute towards sustainability, provided you have some good case studies. Okay, you must have solved something in, let's say, India probably, or your expertise should be highly needed to Germany. So even a non-German or let's say an Indian person can start a company in Germany, but that is through a GmbH only. You need to invest. Like if you ask me specifically how much, this 25,000 euros. One person, someone has to invest in Germany by the way of starting a company, by having someone, a local person, as some kind of procurist or representing that company. Because ideally, opening the bank account and everything, Germany has a lot of norms, Okay, they check the background of the employer. For example, many people from Middle East wants to start company in Germany, but German government, at least I live in Frankfurt, Frankfurt government says, even if you are just bringing money, don't come to us. Bring some quality, bring some product, bring some expertise, then you are welcome in Germany. So if you have that, definitely you are welcome in Germany. We'll be happy to take questions in case you have something. Okay. Yep.
Just again, I'm coming back to academia route. I still remember our meeting with the Standby University in Germany. They are putting on the higher pedestal with respect to ESG and all overall like SDGs of the world. Because that's the kind of every company is looking for a sustainable future. Now, at least what we are trying to do at our end, actually we did KPMG's course on sustainability, non-negotiable for all MBA students, be it our Mumbai or Bangalore campus. So I'm sure with your consulting background also, and if you develop a network even through academia route, because academic, I'm sure universities are looking forward to this. These are the future, and we are trying to actually develop a kind of multi-party kind of forum of universities in different countries and coming together. And from each of the countries, probably if we can get 8-10 companies from that country, so that we also widen the network. So maybe I'm sure such kind of at least your connectedness with the universities or academic institutions may help you in the long term.
Yeah, myself Chandrasekhar. Europe has come out with this carbon border adjustment mechanism. The 6-7 sectors they are putting carbon tax. Now one side we talk about trade and second side they're talking about the CBAM. My presentation has been shared with Mr. Ramnade, Mr. Gupte on CBAM. So my question is, today there are 6-7 sectors, tomorrow there might be 50 sectors, right? Because they are very serious about carbon tax. When the European delegation came to India recently, I think 2 or 3 months before, and they had a meeting with the Commerce Secretary, they did not negotiate on anything. They said, you put a tax on our products, rather than we reducing the tax on Indian imports. So even the smallest of the small foundry in Kolhapur with 50 crore, 100 crore turnover have got emails from people in Europe saying that, okay, you need to comply with so many things. I mean, one side we talk about trade development, second side you talk about so much of carbon border adjustment. And the carbon tax is coming because they have polluted the environment, we haven't polluted. Our per capita pollution is significantly lower as compared to Germany or Europe or US. China is 30% of world's pollution, Europe is US is 13%, Europe maybe another 12-13%. So India is hardly at 6%. So I mean, what is the view of the embassy on that?
That is actually our stance in the UN. I'm glad you raised that. आम्ही असंच argue करतो.
So if you give me a chance, I think I'll be able to better argue because I did a presentation to a large US software company recently on CBAM.
No, see, we need to understand, जेव्हा आपण म्हणतो ना trade and commerce वाढवायचं, that cannot be at the cost of the country itself. You need to understand that for every country's policy, the prime importance is given to their own national interest. Like the same diplomacy, they are neither friends nor foes. They are only national interests. Ata, why is Europe or Germany adding on to these taxes, their bureaucracy, plus a carbon border CBAM? They need to protect their economy. As simple as that. You see what China has done to their trade and economy. Yes, no, see, first we need to understand where this is coming from. On one side we say that Europe needs India, on the other hand, like you are saying, they are increasing their taxes and increasing these, what you call as trade barriers, right? But is this targeted towards India alone? They want to protect their economy, be it from India, be it from China, they are going to take their measures. We have to adapt, respond to it. We cannot keep crying on this. Yes, we'll raise these issues, but they will be raising their taxes. We do the same for their products. We also, protect our economy on that, on multiple fronts. And they have been arguing us to give market access to their products. Now, I know it's a tough time for our industry, but as with previous, taxations and regimes and all, our industry will adapt and will have to adapt if we have to survive. There is no easy answer to this. We cannot teach Europeans what to do, what not to do. They are going to do that. Apni industry suffer karna hai, naturally. But prime target, at least this is what they say, the prime target is our neighbor who has been dumping into these countries like anything. So they have to protect their economy. In that fire line, apan pan yeto. आपला पण नुकसान होते त्याच्यात, but then We have to prove that we are better in adapting. We'll have to find ways. This is just one tax. There will be multiple taxes coming. That Lieferkettung, what is called the child labor and prevention law that is in talks. Even that thing. I mean, there will be multiple such things, and we'll have to adapt to the situation. I wish I had a better answer, but this is the reality. Our industry will have to adapt.
In a way, they are trying to dump things on us because per capita pollution in Europe is much higher as compared to India.
I agree. That's. पण आपण त्यांना शिकवू शकत नाही ना.
शकत नाही, ते ऐकतच नाही.
आपण ऐकत नाही. आपण वी आर इंडिया. आपण ऐकतो. आपण नाही ऐकत आणि ऐकूही नाही. We have to act as per our interest. They'll act as per their interest, and together we have to come to a middle ground, right? And we see a lot of complementarities, as rightly pointed out.
This in UN मध्ये आता just first time बोललं गेलं की India has less and all developed countries have.
I mean, as a policy, as a stance, as a part of Ministry of External Affairs, Government of India, of course, we raise this point, and we know that this is unfair after what they have done to the environment and all. But practically, जेव्हा आपण बोलतो, आपल्याला भाषण एकीकडे, पण इंडस्ट्रीला काय सांगायचंय? तर इंडस्ट्रीला आपण हे भाषण देऊ शकत नाही. ते UN मध्ये तिकडे त्या लोकांसाठी ठीक आहे. What we need is to adapt as fast as possible. काय तिकडे होतंय ते समजून घ्या, का करतायत समजून घ्या आणि पटकन अडॅप्ट करा. नाहीतर आपण कोलॅप्स होऊ आणि ते होऊ द्यायचं नाही.